Yo, it's Alex from GMG Studio. Today we will discuss how to plan your first game, setting milestones, and we will give you some general tips. In the last video we gave you some tips on making your first game. Scope small, use your talents, ask for help and don't give up, but pivot when your project is too big. In this video we will give you some tips on how to plan the project itself. If you want to learn how to develop a game, just take a look on our other videos. And by the way, we will start with a new series where we develop and release a whole game with you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to stay up to date. But let's start with some tips. Tip number 1. Don't plan a game that you think will take more than a month. Honestly, just don't do it. Remember our last video? After every game you made, you will become better. You get more experience and level yourself up. It's like in games. You don't fight the final boss right at the beginning. Sometimes you do, but you will suffer an embarrassing defeat. You start small, learn the tutorials, fight weaker bosses. And after some practice, some leveling up, etc., you will be able to fight the final boss. Tip number 2. You won't finish your first game in 1 month. It will take you more than a month. Even the most experienced developers, project managers, etc. can't estimate that good. They just add 50% to their estimation because there are always surprises and unique challenges in development. If you didn't finish your game after your deadline, don't panic. This is normal, but if you end up with 3 months or longer, well, you probably scoped too large. Learn from it and start smaller next time. Tip number 3. Well, don't spend weeks or even months on the design of your first game. And all designers know, how dare you! But why should you spend weeks or even months on designing something? Just build it as quickly as you can. You want to become better, you want to build something, you want to get some feedback, so just do it. Tip number 4. Work with milestones. This is probably the most obvious tip, but so many people forget about it. If you think your game will take you a month, set a milestone for every week. This will help you to stay on track and you will have a great feeling after achieving the milestones. If you think a milestone will take you more than a week, just break it down. It will be frustrating working on something for such a long time and not achieving it. Smaller milestones will help you to stay on track. Tip number 5. Gameplay is king. The most valuable thing of a game is the gameplay. Don't invest too much time into your sound or graphics. This can be done after you've finished your game. But if your gameplay sucks, well, you can throw your game away. If you don't believe me, just take a look at Tetris or Pong. The gameplay is awesome, just moving squares. The design and sound could be better, of course. But so many people love the game. And this is just your first game. Tip number 6. Get feedback. Give people your game and watch them playing it as soon as possible. Don't be shy or embarrassed. Don't wait until your game is finished. Get their feedback as soon as possible. Don't be like, oh, my game can't compete with God of War, or my game is not finished yet. Get the feedback as soon as possible. You will learn so much just by watching people play your game. This is awesome. And if they criticize your game, keep in mind that this will help you to become even better. If you spend a bunch of time creating a game, polishing everything, etc., just to realize that people don't understand or just don't like your gameplay, you will be frustrated. You lost so much time, but if you get the feedback early, it will help you so much. Tip number 7. Choose your team wisely. You don't have to start alone. You don't have to make your first game alone. Maybe you have a good friend or smart coworker who wants to start developing games as well. Just ask him or her. The perfect match would be if one of you is into design and the other person is into development. But if both of you are designers or developers, it doesn't matter. It's always cooler to create something as a team. But you have to be careful. Don't ask everyone. If you will work after school or your regular business on it, and the other person just sometimes on the weekends, it will be very frustrating. If you find someone you trust and you think all of you will invest round about the same time into the game, go for it. If not, just start alone. We hope that those tips will help you creating your first game. Cut milestones as small as possible, find the smallest game you can create and make that. And after a year you will have learned so much and be pretty good. Way better than if you would have spent the whole year on developing one big game. And with this said, just do it. Make your first game. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, subscribe if you want to be notified on our future content. We are also on Instagram and Facebook. Feel free to follow us there as well. And have a great day. Start creating, stop consuming.